Welcome back to another reading. Today we're doing a reading on Dan Schneider. I already got some psychic info on the situation, so I'm just going to go with what I feel because it was what I was shown, so I have to just say it. Dan Schneider, he was definitely creepy. He definitely has done some stuff. And by that, I mean untoward stuff in relation to young people, especially women. I feel that proof would be hard to find due to something like drugs having been administered or done in those situations. He's a very careful man. If there was anybody or is anybody that has evidence out there for him, it would be pretty hard to find because I know that we want to look at him as like the ultimate bad guy when it comes to putting our children in danger. And he is a big contributor to that, but he's not, that wasn't even his main focus. Dan Schneider, what they're showing me is that he is someone who just wanted to belong. So I wonder if in his teenage or young 20s sort of days, if he got into the wrong crowd. He definitely had some self-esteem issues. I would not be surprised if he also was SA'd or had some trauma from his childhood. I am thinking of an older woman, so it could be a mother figure or doesn't have to be by blood, just a mother figure or just an older woman that would have given him some form of trauma. But my point is, in his childhood, he already was very much so lacking a lot of self-esteem. Could have been due to his own insecurities. But then as I see time passing, in his young 20s, I see him really wanting to belong with certain people. And I feel that that is how he wanted to get himself into power, and the way that he saw that happening was to get into bed. That's how I heard it being said, but I don't think it's necessarily literal, but it's to get into connections with people and I'm hearing it now, to provide them with their ultimate desires. He knew that if he could have people open up to him about the things they would never tell anybody else, and he knew that if he could provide some people that he would be able to use that as leverage to further himself in life. So at the start, I see him being this guy that's like a people pleaser and would like do anything for everybody to get further ahead. But as he gained his own success, which is very clear with iCarly, right? Or I mean, whatever the stuff was going on in Nickelodeon, like as he gained his success, he started being like playing that position of being the person that got everything he wanted. In the past, he gave everything to people who wanted things from him. And as time passed further, he gave everything to those that wanted from him. You get what I'm saying? So the roles were reversed. Now, what I'm seeing from him is I can't stop thinking about a group of people. And I actually see that one of the faces of these people is Brian Peck. I'm not necessarily sure if that is a literal representation of the kind of people he hung out with, or if he hung out with those types of people that in his mind he thought, they just did whatever they wanted. They were a little bit bad. They were a little bit badass. And so it made him feel more badass at a time in his life when he was feeling very insecure. But my point of that is I hear Dan doing something like making edgy humor or edgy jokes in his younger days, sort of to get into the good graces of people like that who would make those types of humor. And it wouldn't surprise me if it was, he thought that was how he could excel at comedy at that time. I don't know too much about him and his career. This is just what I'm being shown. Anyway, as I see that kind of progressing, I do feel that he tried certain things, desires that other people liked. I don't know if he actually wanted those same desires. So, sicknesses, really. When I talk about people like Brian Peck and, the things that he's done, I don't think that he's necessarily like, with Dan Schneider, I don't feel that he necessarily is that kind of a person. But what I feel is that he wanted to belong with people who kind of, I don't know how to explain that. He wanted to belong so badly that he was willing to take on the good, the bad, and the ugly of people around him that he thought were edgy in humor or a little bit bad. And because there's something about being a little bit bad that appealed to him and made him feel like, oh yeah, like I can do anything I want. I am so unique and rebellious. And that's where I see his energy. There was a lot, it's all about pride for him. Okay? For Brian Peck, what I'm seeing is an object of his, the apple of his eye, is the comparison that they're trying to give us as a message here, the apple of his eye, versus with Dan Schneider. It wasn't really like that. Like maybe, yes, to some extent, don't get me wrong. I'm not excusing him for anything, and I'm not saying that he's not a predator of sorts, but I do feel that there's something that is different. What if Dan could choose, what he desired most out of anything was to be adored or like, I guess, seen as a household name in his field. And I was hearing like, oh, I just want to be like Steven Spielberg or whatever field I'm in. And I don't really know Steven Spielberg, sorry. But that's the comparison. That's kind of he wanted to be a household name, in the field that he was in. So that was his main priority. Everything else was just, it's not that it was nothing to him, but it was an accessory to that. And it was about, like, especially when it came to young women, right? Yes, I do feel that he was still pretty fucking sick, but I also feel that, how do I explain this? It's almost like it was exacerbated by the people he hung out with, because he wanted so badly to assume their energy into himself and his body. He copied or did the things that they talked about. Because if I'm just being honest with you, like, and I'm just trying to communicate what I'm saying, okay? What I'm seeing. So some people like Brian Peck, or was it the other guy, Josh Handy, I think, like they have a pattern of doing these things. And I think for Dan, it was a power tripping sort of thing, and trying things out and, you know, trying to kind of abuse his power over other people. But I don't know that he necessarily still does that to this day, because I don't think that's what it is. It's the power in itself for him. Now, as I'm saying this, the reason why I'm bringing all of this up is because that's where you want to hurt him. Okay? He still fucked people's lives up by enabling certain people to be around the child actors, right? He still fucked people's lives up. Like, he traumatized people, even if it's indirectly. And I'm just going to be honest here. And I do feel that he's done some things of his own. And I feel that they were two women. And I feel that there was something in relation to maybe having drugged someone. So I don't know if they would necessarily remember or even know, or if there would be evidence, okay? Because here's how I was hearing that. The way that Dan would think is, I would never be caught dead having, like, evidence on myself. Like, that's what I heard. So or a variation of that. So out of anything, the things you would be most careful of is, I'm not going to get caught. You know, like, that's the most important part, because his sexual deviancy, I guess, that was not the main thing about him. It was always about pride and power. And again, I'm trying to, like, use words so I don't fucking get, like, shadow banned or anything, but I guess at this point, I'm just going to say whatever I'm going to say. Yes, he's a predator, but I don't think that that's the main thing that has consumed him. And the reason that is important is because, how do I say this? Like, if you want to hit someone where it hurts, that's where you go to where it hurts. It's the power. And I actually feel that, because I believe he was asked to step down or taken off of, like, Nickelodeon, that already happened, that he already went through, like, his quote unquote karma, like, in a sense that it was taken away from him and he wanted to keep going. He actually really, like, it's giving me the idea of Napoleon, you know, like he just had all that pride of like, that was how he saw himself. He saw himself as like sort of a god, and he felt truly that he was going to be able to continue on. This is the Nine of Cups here. That's what it is. It's that dissatisfaction. And so he's not satisfied with how his career went. He felt he could have pushed it a lot further. Now, I don't know if he's been in other projects since then, but that's where you hit in. I mean, if anyone's asking. Lawsuits and all that, he can always get a lawyer, and if your evidence isn't that strong, you know, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but if money's tight, if, you know, where it hurts is his project. And if anybody cares, that's where you take it away from him. I'm just saying that. Now, when it comes to what I'm seeing here as well, I do feel that a huge part of, I guess, his downfall is going to be health and health matters, illness or sickness. And you can see that with the Hermit card here. The Hermit card is also about being left alone. So wouldn't be surprised if the people that used to support him and used to be like, yeah, I got your back. If anything ever comes out, I'll get you a lawyer. If they don't support him anymore, and that I'm hearing that was one of the reasons why he came out with an apology, is because he felt like he had to stand up for himself. And I feel like in the past, for some reason, like he wouldn't even have to say anything because, well, Nickelodeon lawyers and whoever else would just be there in front of him. And I feel that I'm actually hearing either some of these people have died, retired, or just left the picture altogether. And so it's like, it's just him. Like, I feel that he actually feels a lot more alone. So in that context, I guess, yeah, like maybe a lawsuit is not as bad of an idea. But as I was saying before, evidence is what matters. I guess you can always come at someone from different perspectives and angles. Now, yeah, I feel that with him, he definitely, that's where it is. It keeps going back to feeling alone, dissatisfaction with life and with career. He did not achieve everything he thought he would achieve. And being that is his most important thing in mind, that's why I'm saying that's where you hit and where it hurts, you know? Because that is where, like, that's his baby almost. Like when you talk about what his proudest accomplishments are, it is that. Now, I just have something to ask, but I wondered if he does have a daughter. Because the thing is, I don't feel it. That's what I'm saying. I don't feel it in the sense of like, you should be scared for a daughter. But I do wonder if he has a daughter. The interesting thing about him is I actually feel that he went through some form of a spiritual something, like, or some form of an awakening here in his life. I think something definitely did change. What you're hoping for him to have, he's already gone through internally, and maybe that's not enough for you guys, and that's perfectly fine. All I'm doing is communicating what I am aware of. And what I am aware of is that I feel like he's gone through some form of a change. I feel that when things started falling apart in his life, when people stopped being there for him, he went through some form of a realization. That is also the Hermit card here. The screen broke, right? Almost, it's like, this is like literally a reference to Black Mirror. So, almost like the facade broke. I think that he definitely had those moments already. The Ace of Cups is in reverse here. This is detachment. You know what's interesting? He's starting to realize how alone he is in his life. And Ace of Cups in reverse, Nine of Cups in reverse, that is in relation to detachment from love and unhappiness. But see, here's the interesting thing. He's feeling the sense of detachment because he feels alone. Like, look at this guy. He's literally like got this flashlight sort of exploring, but he's got nobody behind him. That is where he feels this loss of love. It's not because he wants love. It's because he's feeling like, where are the people that are supporting me? You know, where are the people that are here? King of Cups. Where are the people that are here to tell me that I'm the king and that I'm so amazing? Like, he is looking back at his past self or his past accomplishments and achievements at when people would tell him that he was loved or adored for one reason or another, but it's not for the right reasons. It's not for reasons of the heart and longing for love. It is longing for someone to be on his side so he can do the things he wants to do. So although I do feel that there was some form of a change in his mindset, I don't feel that he regrets certain things he's done. So for that reason, fuck that guy, you know? But here's what else I see here. The Lover's card is here. We have the Eight of Swords in reverse. And we have the Five of Swords in reverse. What did I tell you guys? I don't think that anything's going to stick, unfortunately. Or the Lover's card, this is a settlement. Prison is literally in reverse here. Five of Swords reverse. So this could be someone walking away eventually. This is a crashed plane, but it's in reverse. So almost like, let's let bygones be bygones. This is a settlement or an agreement of sorts. It could also be that some people, and this is what I'm hearing, some people are being strong-armed or reminded of their agreements. And I actually want to tell you, I don't think it's as many as you guys would think. I think that some people have made him out to be like every single child he's touched on set. I don't believe that that's the case. I believe that maybe there was one or two. I was really strongly, that's what I was seeing. Unfortunately, I had to see it. Like there was something like, but only glimpses of it. It was something like one or two, and I did feel women. But I did not see more than that. I mean, whatever. There's the uncomfortable environment he's given to people in his workplace, sure. But I'm saying in terms of like having done something, that's what I have. That's the number I have in my mind. It's one or two, or maybe once or twice. Here's where his negligence is, right? It is the fact that he allowed or was part of or something like that, a group of people. And I also don't necessarily know if it's the Illuminati or the Cabal or whatever. I know a lot of people talk about that stuff, right? I don't know what it is, but let me explain what I'm trying to say. It's like if he was friends with Brian Peck and Josh Handy and people like that who are big in the industry, you know? So wouldn't be surprised if some people that he's friends with were actually or are actually influential people that also have, I mean, the same tastes, you know, for lack of a better descriptor. But the point I'm saying here is that a part of him did the things he did. It's almost like he didn't have to. And that's the sucky part, right? It's like how I'm understanding his energy is that there were crucial points around the times that he made people uncomfortable when he had a split second to think. And he was like, maybe that would make someone uncomfortable. You feel me? But he chose to do those things. So even with this group that I keep talking about, I think that the other people of that group are genuinely like fucking, that's what they want. They're predators and what they want is to harm other people. However, with him, I don't feel that that's the case. He's still a predator of sorts, but it's not that. It's almost like he used all these sick, twisted things to gain access to or to be close to specific people. And I don't know if I sound insane saying that, but that's what it is. It's like, this really famous director, they like fucking young women. Like, okay, sure. Like, let me get in on that too. Even though I don't really care for it, I don't really mind him. But because that person does, I'm gonna say yes. It's like smoking because your boss likes to smoke. You know, like you're doing it not because you want to, but because you think it'll make you look cool in front of the boss. And it sounds insane, but that's what I feel, people. And it's interesting. He treated certain people like God, for sure. So that's where it is. That's what his problem is. It is truly just, I guess, narcissism, you know? It is this feeling of wanting to be God or wanting to be God-like in that industry. And out of anything, that is his greatest sadness, that he wasn't that person, which is sick, you know? Like, out of everything that you've ever done in life, you don't regret the things that were actually wrong. The one thing you regret is that, you know, you weren't remembered. Like, that's pretty fucked up, you know? Anyway, what do we see for the future? Yeah, I mean, honestly, unfortunately, by the way, he could be a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, and if he's not, that's fine. Eight of Wands is in reverse. That's also a flash. Three of Cups in reverse. Interesting. It's just a failed settlement is what I'm seeing. Or I saw a settlement, but I also feel like the victims, I don't feel like they're going to get what they want, if I'm just being honest with you. And hopefully this is something that'll change. Maybe all I'm picking up on is energy over the next few months. Sometimes that's the case, and that's not the fixed future, you know? But I think that they'll be vindicated. I just don't think it'll be through legal means. Or if they are going to be vindicated, it is through money. And for some of them, it's like money that they weren't able to turn into a livelihood. I also want to say that really, like I said, the way that this kind of falls down is through health. This is also going to sound really weird, but I do think he's still involved in some form of an illegal activity. But I'm thinking something behind the scenes, like, wouldn't surprise me if he was involved in something like drugs or money laundering, something else that's not in entertainment. I know that sounds insane, but like, yeah, it's like, and I wonder if maybe that's even where you got to look for things that are beneath the surface. Like, you're not going to get him for those actions or for anything like that. What you would be able to get from him is if you were able to show that he has done other things that are criminal. And I do think that he's doing or has done other things. And I feel that it relates to money. And I keep feeling that I do think of a raid when I think of this, but also the idea of like transporting something. I don't know if the raid's necessarily going to happen, but that's the idea. If you really want to, if there's karma that would get back to him, it would be that, but not in the sense of SA or anything in relation to that and those types of allegations. Like, it's something else. So I even want to say this card here, so it'd be like, tax evasion or something. Like, it has to be hidden with the money or the creative projects or his name. Like, if people are able to find a way to take his name off, for example, that might be something. Or is there money that still goes to him because of his previous projects? Reruns, streams of those previous projects can't be a lot, but something like that. Like, if you're able to take the meaning of the industry away from him, that is how I see things going down. And when that is talked about, I feel that there is karma in that sense. There already was. I'm telling you, the main thing he wanted, he did not get. And so in that sense, karma already happened. And maybe you're not happy with that. And I understand. It's just, that's what I'm seeing, The only other way is something that could be criminal or something that relates to belongings, possession, monetary gains, especially from his old project at Nickelodeon. When everybody refers to like iCarly and all that as like the golden age of Nickelodeon, yeah, that's where he gets that satisfaction. So, I mean, honestly, if you can take off his name somehow, I think that would be equivalent to something that would take away the meaning of those accomplishments for him. So that's actually interesting because I was wondering, my question was, will he have a downfall of sorts? That's interesting. This is the Knight of Wands. We have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Four of Wands. That's home. Well, money in reverse, poverty, but that's also like dead bodies. I mean, uncovering of things. And then that's the cops. Okay, but for what? See, Four of Pentacles in reverse. That's money. And Queen of Wands in reverse. There's a blonde here that is relevant to this. Queen of Wands in reverse. Wheel of Fortune here. So it could be like if he amassed a large portion of wealth due to some, I don't know, like, I don't even know. What does he do? Like, I don't think that he's necessarily in the entertainment, like, in business, or like, if he is, it's only part. So, okay, well, let me put it this way. Things like tax, things like unjust enrichment. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's something about the money. You have to follow where the money is. That is where you find something. And someone will find something, actually. Could be a Queen of Wands. You know, I started thinking of Jeanette McCurdy, but I didn't really want to bring her into this, but she definitely has. I mean, she's got her anger about him, and I just know that I understand. And I feel that if there's someone who can do this, it's not necessarily her, but it's someone who has been wronged by him, and this is a woman. And I feel there's something to be found, and it's in relation to money. So I wouldn't even be surprised if, like, I saw this, right? But for some reason, this looked like a film to me, like a home video. So I don't know, like, I don't know if there's actually like some form of a home video, or it's like if the money was paid off to certain people. Oh, that's so interesting. I just heard money could have been used to kill someone's career. I mean, I don't know if that's literally to kill someone, and I'm not saying that. But money could have been like put to that use. I don't know what it is, but it's money, and it's who did he make certain deals with? And there's a woman definitely involved, and another blonde here, you know? I mean, who was involved in this that maybe someone's careers were put to a stop, or, you know what it is? It's like, can you sue someone for the profits you could have made had you not been fired? I don't know. Something like that. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't like this energy. It's super heavy. Okay. If you want to book a reading with me, book me at mediumisabella.com. Comment below what else you want me to do a reading on. Okay. Bye.